Hi guys, Mark Holthe here, Canadian immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, and former high school teacher. I thought I would jump on quick. It's been a couple days. My tips of the day for express entry haven't been as regular as I'd like, basically because I've had a whole bunch of things happening on the business side of my practice, trying to get some multinational companies all sorted out with a bunch of workers that are planning to come to Canada, and many of them are arriving on Tuesday. It is, let's see, what is the date today? It's March the 18th. I'm recording it, and it's 10:10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Definitely not my normal time, but I wanted to just push out a little video today, another express entry tip of the day for all of you guys. Just because I'm going to be away for a few more days and I may not be able to do another one. We are super excited. My family is taking my daughter down to Provo, Utah, to the Missionary Training Center. And I'll just throw up a little picture here. Some of you may realize, and I'll jump over here, but some of you may realize right over here, my son and my daughter, my son's going to Trinidad. Actually, he's probably going to spend most of his time in Suriname. Which is a Dutch-speaking country in South America. And my daughter's going to Indianapolis, actually. And so they're going to go serve missions for a church. And my daughter, we're dropping her off on Wednesday of this week. But we're actually leaving tomorrow morning at about 6:30 in the morning to drive the 12-hour drive down to Salt Lake City, and then eventually drop her off Wednesday at the Missionary Training Center. So super excited about that. It's a big deal for our family, and it's taking up a lot of my time to get them all prepped and everything. So that's why I haven't been on as much. But that's one of the things that's taking me away. And it's going to be really sad to see my kids go, because Jessica will be gone for 1.5 years and Adam 2 years. And Adam will be reporting on April the 4th. But that's just something that's going on in the Holthe household. But I don't want to neglect my other family, which is all of you out there in the Canadian Immigration Institute YouTube land, as well as those of you who are watching this live on our Express Entry Law Facebook page, a private Facebook page. So it's pretty cool. Those of you who are around, it should actually be a decent time if you're over in Asia Pacific. Some of you might actually be in different areas of the world. Who knows? But let's dive in. So what's the tip of the day today? The tip of the day today is, if I can find it here, is right here. How to calculate my CRS score for express entry. And many people that come on the Express Entry Law private Facebook group jump in and say, hey, how do I calculate my score? Or am I eligible for express entry? Well, last tip of the day, we talked about eligibility. But this is different, folks. Because it's one thing to be eligible, and it's an entire another thing to actually rank high enough to qualify to receive an invitation to apply. So, express entry is designed to select people who have the highest comprehensive ranking system score based upon however many people they want to take in each draw. So what I'm talking about is a process, and I talked a little bit about it in the last tip of the day, but essentially not everybody who qualifies for Canadian immigration programs is going to have the opportunity to apply. Only those who rank the highest. And so how do you figure out what your ranking is? That's the question. And it is called your CRS, or your Comprehensive Ranking System score. So I'm going to slip over here. I'm going to make sure that I take away all of these distracting things that I have, including this. I'm going to get rid of this one. And then I'm going to switch over to my screen so you guys can see it. And I'm going to blow this up really big if I can get to it right there. Okay, so basically, guys, what you're going to punch in here, I'm going to enlarge this as well so that everybody can see it. Almost there. Now it's not in the way. Okay, so basically, you're going to go in and you're going to type in CRS Tool EE. That's probably enough. You could add another CIC or IRCC, which is the acronyms for the Government of Canada. But if you hit enter, it's going to pull up this right here, Comprehensive Ranking System Tool. That's where we're going. Okay, so we're going to click on that. And then we're going to take a look here, and I think you guys should be able to see okay. Yeah, that's good. All right. So this is where you determine your score. And it's a perfectly good calculator. You don't need to go to any other source. You can use this one to calculate your score, and it's a trusted source, guys. It's the IRCC actual website that helps you to calculate your own score. So let's take a look at this. All right, what's your marital status? Once again, I'm going to use me as an example, except I'm going to keep it simple for now. So I'm going to say I am single. Okay? And how old are you? And this is an important one for you guys to see, because I'm going to put here, you can see down at the very bottom, 45 years of age or more basically means I'm a 0. I get no points, but I'll put it in anyways. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to change this to married. And I'm going to show you guys how many points I'm actually going to get. So I'll say, is your a permanent resident of Canada? I'm going to put no. Will your spouse accompany you to Canada? Yes. How old are you? I'm 45. What is your level of education? Well, I have a master's or professional degree. Have you earned a Canadian degree diploma? In my case, I'm going to answer yes, because I did. Then choose the best answer to describe this level of education. Well, it was 3 years or more, master's professional. And then official languages. Have you written one? And guys, if you have not written an official language test, you're not going to be able to get an official score. But I'm going to put here yes. And then you choose which one, either the CELPIP or the IELTS. The CELPIP is generally within Canada or over in the UAE. They also offer it. But IELTS is often the one that you guys choose. Now, I have not yet taken this test. But in my last tip of the day, I told you guys that I am actually going to do it. And I intend to do that. But for the time being right now, I'm just going to guess. So I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that I actually can speak my language and I can read it and I can write it. Still battling this cold a little bit, so I apologize for my throat. All right. Do you have other language results? Well, I took high school French and I got my French 30, which is my high school level French. But guys, when I went on my mission myself and I went to Portugal and I learned to speak Portuguese, woo, French disappeared. So I'm putting no down for French. Work experience. How many years of skilled work experience? And this first one is asking in Canada. How many in Canada? Well, for me, I can put 5 years or more because I've been working a lot in Canada. But obviously you guys are not going to be able to do that. And the last 10 years, how many total years of work experience do you have? Well, I've got 3 or more years, of course. And for many of you, this will be really the one that's important because you won't have any Canadian experience. So your foreign work experience is going to be what you put into here. Then it says, do I have a qualification certificate from a Canadian province? In my case, no, I don't. Additional points. Do I have a job offer supported by a labor market impact assessment, or have I been working in Canada on a skilled work permit on an exempt a labor market impact assessment exempt work permit, like a NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, or an intercompany transfer work permit. So those different types of work permits that specifically name my employer are potentially eligible, but I have to show that I've been working for them for a year in Canada. In my case, I'm going to put no. Do I have a nomination certificate? Nope. Oh, guys, and actually, I'm going to jump back. My apologies for the confusion. This one right here, where it says, do you have a certificate of qualification? This relates, guys, to a skilled trade in Canada. My apologies. Like welding or carpentry or something like that. Okay, or pipe fitting. Or if you're a mechanic. So that doesn't apply to me regardless. So I'm scrolling back here. I don't have a nomination from a province. It says, do you have a sibling in Canada? Well, I do. So I'm going to put yes. And now it asks about my spouse. What's the highest level of vacation for your spouse? Well, in case of my spouse, she's got a 2-year. And then I'm going to put here, how many years of Canadian work experience in the last 10 years? Well, actually, she has none or less than. And then, did your spouse or common law partner take a language test? I'll put yes, she did. And I think my wife can probably max out on her language as well. Okay? And then I'm going to calculate my score. When you click calculate, it gives you your breakdown. So remember, it's out of 1,200 points. And then you'll see here, guys, look, how many points am I getting for age? 0. I'm losing a whack, over 100 points. I am losing because I am just too old. I'm 45 years old. But my education is pretty good. I've got good points for study in Canada. I have official languages, maxing on that, and lots of Canadian work experience. So this is human capital here. Human capital factor. My scores, 324 points, but that's not it. Then I go to my spouse. So she's giving another 27 points. So she doesn't have any Canadian work experience, so we're losing 10 points there. But that's okay. So then here's the kicker, guys. Look at this. See these points here? Skill transferability. These are the big ones. So when your language is above what we call a CLB 9, in other words, if I go back to my language scores, what I put down here, as long as you're speaking and reading and writing are at least a 7 on the IELTS, and your listening is at an 8, then you have the ability to maximize your score. You also need to have at least, if I scroll down here to my work experience, well, you need to have at least 3 years of skilled work experience abroad, or at least 2 credentials to maximize your points. But for my case, my purposes here, I'm getting a full 100 points there. And you can see my final score is 496. So fortunately for me, because of my Canadian work experience, I actually would qualify to receive an ITA. And some of you are probably asking, well, okay, that score is fine, but what does that mean? How do I know if I'm high enough? Well, I'm going to jump over here and show you this screen. And these rounds of invitations, that's what it's called. So if you search this, Express Entry, rounds of invitations, I'm going to copy it, and I'm just going to put it right into the browser button here again. So if you type that in or go into Google and click it, then it will pull up right at the top, Express Entry rounds of invitations. So when I click on that, and then I scroll down, this is where the latest scores are published. And you can see on March the 14th, okay, the draw total on March the 14th was 456, which is pretty high. But the reality is we just don't know whether it's going up or down, but 456 is pretty high. But anyways, there were 3,000 people invitations issued on March the 14th, and 456 was the pass mark. Okay? But if you're wondering, well, what is it like going forward? What were the other draws looking like? You can see here, on February the 21st, the last draw, it was actually at 442. So we had a little bit of a spike there. And then before that, it was also 442, 444, 446, 446, and you can just go down all the way. The lowest it's ever been is on May 31st of last year. And if I scroll down to May 31st of last year, you will see right here, 413 points was the pass mark. And I'm going to get into more details in future future Express Entry tips of the day on why the point system is the way it is, what we can expect for the future, and why it's important for you to act as soon as possible and not delay actually trying to get your Express Entry profile submitted into the pool. But that's essentially it, guys. That's how you go through the process. That's how you're able to calculate your own comprehensive ranking system score. And right now we're sitting at about 14 minutes, which is a little bit longer than I wanted for my tips of the day. But I just wanted to show you guys how to calculate your score. I hope it was helpful. And like I said, I've got to finish a few work permits for my big multinational companies right now because I have to get on the road early tomorrow morning to drive down to Utah to drop my kids off. And like I had indicated to you guys before, I'll just show you here. These little characters right here, my prides and joys, Jessica and Adam are getting ready to go on their missions, and that's dominated a lot of my time recently. So my apologies for not being able to give you guys more time, including Q&As. But once this is settled, once they're out, then my life is going to settle down, and I'll do more live question and answers for you. But at this stage, I'm going to have to get back to getting some work done over here on this computer and creating some work permit packages that I have to get for people who are traveling on Tuesday. And it is now 10:25 p.m. And get home and get some sleep. As always, guys, I want to pop this one up too. You may wonder, Mark, why are you not answering our questions? Well, I've kind of explained to you right now why I don't have time right now. But guys, this right here, this magical thing right here, guys, is what I created for all of you. This Express Entry complete step-by-step guide to doing it yourself. It is chock full of Q&As, answers to the most common questions that I've had, and it physically walks you through every aspect of Express Entry. So I recommend you guys check it out, subscribe to it. If you're wondering, how do I find it, Mark? There's the link right there. CanadianImmigrationInstitute.com will take you there. And so Gian is asking the question, when are you going to do your next live Q&A? Well, guys, it's probably going to be a week from Tuesday. So that's when things will settle down. My daughter will be on her mission. My son is reporting April the 4th. So I've got a little bit of a week window time there. So we're looking at probably, well, it's going to be a week from Tuesday is when I'm going to do it again. So stay tuned, guys, and keep helping one another in the group. Those of you on YouTube, I guess like and subscribe. That's what people say. But check out all the other videos down below. Some of them are not organized as nicely as this, but some are massive, huge videos that take a long time to listen that are just chock full of a whole bunch of things. I hope you enjoy it, and I wish you guys all the best as you're navigating this crazy world that we all call Express Entry. Take care.